Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Scorchlands. This is episode 2 of a mini series with this brand new early release game, early access game, that is. And it's a city builder with a lot of resource management, and it's continuous resource management, which is an interesting take on an industry a genre that's had a lot of similarities, and this definitely gives it something unique that you don't see in other areas. We've just finished up the first phase, the first tier of tech. We want to now begin our work in the second tier, which starts in a new biome that we just unlocked, which is the desert. Now you can see there's a couple levels here that we're going to be dealing with, and there are some enemies that we are going to have to face. I'm wondering if we can't get them cleared just yet. I don't know if these guys take... Their defense is a 2. Not quite sure if we can take care of them just yet. Let's see if we can. So we're going to place our first guy out here. And we'll get our second one in next to him. And can I get in there without getting too much trouble? No, I'm not sure we can beat these guys just yet. Alright, we're going to drop you back, and I'm going to get myself out of here. So we are going to need a third enemy. I suppose we could return them. There you go. Alright, before we can clear out the enemies. It's an interesting system on that, but we'll get more into it later as we can actually do what it is we set out for. But for now, we've got mountains. We've got desert. The mountains are going to be handy, so let's go ahead, and I think maybe we'll take this area kind of right here. Most of it in the mountains, just a little bit outside of it. Oh, hey, there's something that I still need to do. We have tech that we need to unlock. We need 8 more stone tablets. So we're going to step away from that colony for just a second and put something quickly together that will result in another. And I'm guessing if we go back here, I'm going to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And actually sort of 3. So yeah, we're gonna head back this way. Let me get as close as I wanted to, but this should work from here. I understand the system and how it works. Oh, hello. That's nasty. But it didn't open up as much as I thought it would, because there's a boundary there. There's some lava. Alright, with 9.5, that is just about enough for us. And now we have the second tier unlocked. And get back over to this colony that we were trying to set up. And let's start to make things happen. Now in tier 2. So this is a tricky one on how this works. It took me a while to figure it out. The tutorial wasn't terribly helpful. And the trial and error ultimately was, but it took quite a while of isolating things before I went, I got it. Well, anyway, so first off, what's the end goal? What are we trying to achieve in the tier 2 stuff? Well, obviously it's, research and upgrading the Nexus, right? So we've got to get through all of the tier 2 stuff. And if you look at what they are, we now have arcane tablets along with additional stone tablets. So getting more stone tablets, we already know how to do that, and that's really easy to achieve, and we really don't need much additional. I mean, there's a 6, and there was an 8, so we need just 14 more. 14 more at some point back in, the grasslands will achieve that for us. But most of what we need out of this second tier are these guys, arcane tablets. And the arcane tablets, to get them, is a 1-to-1 of stone slabs, so there's another reason to have some stone slabs, but also arcane metal. Here is the arcane metal that we're going to need. Stone slabs are easy. That's that secondary of you have rock, you get stone slabs. That's it. Second step. Super easy. But the arcane metal, a little more complicated. Takes 1 coal and 3 arcane dust. Now for the coal takes forest. So it uses forest as its research. Burn the wood, make charcoal, I suppose, is how we're going about that process. And that's 1-to-1 ratio. So we're going to need a colony, a field of wood at some stage, and then we need to connect that colony up with those in the mountains. But that's 3-to-1. The 3-to-1 is the arcane dust. The arcane dust uses 1, 1, and 1 to make 3 of these first 3 types of resources. Now, that is what we're aiming to achieve in this first colony, is start producing some arcane dust. And we need equal amounts of these 3. And the way you work these 3 is they surround themselves. You can see here. This is going to provide us 6, because there are 6 open hexes surrounding that one guy. Actually, maybe we want to move that over to the edge a little bit. Like this. Okay, so there's 1. But it's now using this up. Now, I don't know. I think this will actually work. If we go here, will it give me... Yes, it does. Okay, so you can overlap the fields. That's good to know. Okay, and that should be very handy for us. And then for number 3, we're going to do the same thing here. Of course, you got to keep these within the boundaries, so we'll be able to get another one there. We now have 1 of each, so let's go ahead and try to make it 2 of each as best we can here anyway. Okay, so we've achieved that. Now there's still 2 openings left on top. And we have 11, 11, and 6. So we need a little bit additional. That gets us to 9. And if we put 1 here, that gets us to 12, 11, 11. So we have a balance of 11 of each spread out throughout. That's a pretty healthy balance. That's a lot better than what I was able to do the first time I did this, but this is kind of where I was spending my time and effort on my previous attempt as I was learning the game. Now, we don't have much left in terms of colony space down in the desert and the grass fields, but there is some space. And let's go ahead and get these guys in here. Now, they, of course, get their bonuses as well, and I think that's a more useful bonus for us right there, as that uses up a fair bit of it, but I'm not going to be able to replicate that anywhere. Oh, yes, I am right here. Okay, and I think we might be able to squeeze in 1 more, but we're not going to get 2. All right, that uses up the whole of the balance, but that gives us a quite healthy balance of 33 arcane dust. The arcane metal is that 3-to-1. So, I mean, that's 11 units for us, and that means we need to bring in at least 11 coal. And maybe we want to do that. Well, can we get 11 coal from our existing colony over here? Let's see. I'm not sure we can. That's only a single piece of coal. That would get us 2.75. Let's just try. The nice thing about being able to replace this stuff is you can replace it for free. Okay, like I said, we need 11. There's 7. Nope, that was too far away. Maybe we can throw a house in and give a little bonus. Yeah, throw in 1 more. That gets us up to 8. Over 9 now. 10.5. That just about covers us off. But now we need to get the resource over there, and that's easier said than done right now. Nowhere near enough. As that uses everything we had in there. Okay, so here's the plan. Let's not put this together here. Put this together elsewhere, which means we're going to need to transfer 2 resources over, which actually means we don't necessarily need to do this anymore either. We could transport it, like, say, over here. We could throw in a colony this way. And receive both of them. We'll try it right there. Alright, so here's the idea. We're going to take the transfer lasers, put them in here, and let's get rid of a little confused as to why there aren't any bonuses, but we'll figure that out. We will figure that out soon enough. Alright, we need 24 slabs, so back down to tier 1. And the good news is we could do the same thing here and get there you go. So we have stone, we have slabs. We now have some bonuses applied, so we do have a little bit too much on this guy. So let's take off one of those at the end. And maybe one more. There we go. Now we have a healthier balance. We also still have some spare arcane metal, so let's try to add a little bit more on the arcane tablet side. Maybe go to the interior a little bit. There we go. 2.7. Okay, 1.2 over. That's not bad. We need a little bit more in slabs, though. Okay, we're 6 over. Okay, now we're only 2 over. Will this get us any closer? There we go. All right. So we came out of that with a pretty close balance. And we have 31 and a half. 31 and a half arcane tablets, aka a specific type of research. Now we still need to get those bad boys on the go, but this is logistics 2, which unlocks extra population. That's not an urgent thing. Movement speed is also nice. Not an urgent thing. Maximum deployed units. That's how we can deal with those enemies. Let's go ahead and do that, because that's something I had already introduced. I'll show you how to take these guys out. I have 3 units now, so you place a unit on a hex. If these green rings, they determine a comparison. I can't put this guy here because, as you can see, the strength of that unit, the enemy. Let's see, will it show? There we go. So he has a strength. He has a combat strength of 2. He has a combat defense of 2. I think the water 2 might be something about range. I'm not sure about that part. But strength of 2, meaning he's got 2 rings. 2 defense, 2 strength. My guys have 2 as well on the defensive side. But if we go in here, his 2 strength versus our 1, he's outnumbered. It's 2 to 1. So he would die if I try to put him in here. I put him in here, he's far enough away, he's unaffected. You can see with his rage, there we go. He's a 1-1-1. But if I add in the second guy side by side, They are now supporting each other as units. And as I add in the third guy with support, you can see there's 3 green on the rings and 2 red. We aren't exceeded, we aren't outnumbered, he's supported, therefore we can move him in closer without dealing the penalty. Now his strength plays 1 red onto that guy, but because he has 2 defense, it's not enough to take him out. He's okay. We are supported, so we're okay. But as I get in there, suddenly we have an extra red because I have the same balance. I'm a 1-1-1. Now you can see how it's balanced. It's 2-2. He's still not outnumbered. So now we need to outnumber him. So we're going to take this guy, number 1, and we're going to pull him around the side. And now that that guy is finally outstrengthed, outnumbered, there's 3 attacking points. He only has 2 defense, 3 beats 2, and he is knocked out. Now we can make our way around to follow this up and do the same sort of thing on these other guys. So we can bring him in closer, we can bring number 1 in tight, bring myself in tight, and bring number 3 around. And then we've eliminated that guy. Again, 3 beats 2. Continuing on around. So I'll bring number 2 in. He is supported, so he's safe. Bring number 1 in. Can I, let's see. Can I go through that way? No, but you could take the long way around, I suppose. Okay with taking the long way around. And there we go. Down to 2 enemies. And the desert's clear. So the trick on that is just simple numerical advantage. Don't put an isolated unit in there, as they are numerically disadvantaged. As long as they have support, you're getting a boost, just like we do as each colony is built and it gives a boost elsewhere. And we still have plenty of tech remaining. We don't need to upgrade that for the time being. The radius cap increase might be a nice one to get, as watch what's going to happen once we do this. Do that at each. Oh, it's gonna, I see, cost of population. You do it individually at each one. So if you need more space, I see how that works. All right, cool. Nice to know the system now. We have a colony limit, very handy. Will only cost 4 resources, and that's a good way to get the additional arcane that we need. Combat gear would unlock armor plate and combat gear. So something about the defense, something about the attack. I'm sure it would make us probably like a 2-2 instead of a 1-1. Natural bridges. Any type of terrain becomes buildable. Glass production. Oh. Population and movement speed seems to be a nice combination, so we'll go ahead and do that one. And the colony limit as well, plus additional population, and that's quite a bit of progress already into tier 2. Just a couple colonies into the area. We have 28 population right now. We have 5 omega fluid, which is used for creating and maintaining special buildings. We gain more by upgrading the nexus. Speaking of the nexus, what do we need? We just need 3 additional. Is that to create more desert land? I'm guessing. Yeah, okay, we need technology terraforming 2. The dusty essence, I see. Okay, so the dusty essence is specifically for desert lands. We're gonna need to unlock terraforming 2 before we find out what's required, though I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like, say, volatile essence. And that's going to be what's required here, right? We need to get that 10 volatile essence into there if we're going to beat that one. Now we have not unlocked that. That's terraforming 2. So what do we want to target? Well, there's 2 remaining obvious targets to get. That's the stone tablets, which we need 6 stone tablets for the laser fast travel, and then there was 1 more, and that was 8. So we need 14. We have 3 currently. We need 11 more stone tablets. Let's find a way to get that somewhere in what it is we are doing. Now this is not the area we want to go to expand. If you go here and expand out, that's certainly going to add some additional, especially here, that would add some additional building options. We could get these 2 spaces if we expanded this one. I think I could expand by 2. If I expand by 2, you're going to get this whole row along here. I believe it can. Yes, it can go by 2. We do have an overlap here. But that fit. Yeah, that worked out. That didn't impact anything here. Alright, here's our spot. Here's our spot. We've got all these nice options, and we wanted to get from 3 up to 14. Alright, to produce that additional, we put ourselves really short on ether, so that'll take care of the ether to help that out with the dusty essence, which is exporting 28.5 now, so we're actually producing quite a bit more dusty essence than we were previously. It was 17, that's up to 28.5, and we are up to 18.5 stone tablets locally, which is enough. It is enough, and if if we add 1 more, there we go, that'll take care of that negative balance as well, and you can get your freebie right there, get out of negative territory, or not. Okay, well, 23 is good. That brings us up to 26 overall, well beyond what we needed, so it gives us the entirety of the stone tablets we need for tier 2. So let's get those last couple of upgrades, except I believe this one had a double cost and we don't have that one covered, which means we need more arcane tablets. But we know how to get those guys on the go quite easily. You know what? Let's see what happens if we push that up by 1. Instantly, those 2 expand their reach. Okay, so for now, both the coal and the arcane dust are up, though the arcane dust is only up by so much. So to raise that a little bit further, we can either add a population here and cover some more ground, which I think is better then try to raise this one. Yes, you can pick stuff up there, but we've got something else going on here entirely. And there's still room to incorporate more in that, where this one, it's quite clear what it is we're up to. It does use 2 population to increase. That's okay. There you go. So there's that radius of 5 now. That immediately picked up a little bit more for us. And we want to start with the void stone and add some more of that guy. Alright, so now we're looking at 32 and 11 on the remaining balance, which are right around that 3-to-1 ratio that you want to create the arcane metal. We do need more space after all. That stole from what we had over there, but we can replace that easily enough. Back into this one. Actually, you know what? We're okay. Look at that. 0, 1, 1. Yeah, no worries on that part. Close that out. Okay, so how are we looking? We're... Oh, it took the laser. It took the laser. They put laser beams on their heads. Sharks with freaking laser beams. Alright. Okay, so we've got this pretty well sorted out all of a sudden. As these balances are quite healthy, we're just looking at the 19 arcane metal, but to use that to make this, it is going to require additional. So let's give ourselves a little bit more. Now, one thing I could definitely do at a time like this is I could throw in a bit more. Actually, there's 2 different ways of trying to do this. Can I do this from here? Oh, you betcha. I can. Okay, that's gonna help the balance a bit. And I can even throw in 3 more. Or 4 more. Take the 4. This guy's a little bit far away, but get at least 1 bonus out of it. There we go. Now we're up to 14 again. The magic of figuring little things out like that. How useful. How useful that is. Get myself back inside so I can see where we're at. 10 and 7 now. Kind of figure out where is the best place for placement. Alright, that uses up our balance. Pretty much overall. That's fairly neutral. We've got a little bit of arcane dust left. But that is 63 overall arcane tablet. So arcane tech. We have 18 and 33 remaining. And we had 1 left. There's that. So the natural bridges. Take care of that one. We are now done entirely on stone tablets for tier 2. Don't know about the tier 3 just yet. We're going to need glass production before we can get terraforming 2. That's the path to tier 3 eventually. But we still have 25 more of the arcane tablets now. For the front row, logistics 2, additional population. Okay, just knock it out. Be done with it. Colony limit. Okay, colony limit 4. You add 1 radius to it that uses a 3rd pop. You add an additional radius that uses 2 more pops, and so on and so forth. So it just gets bigger and bigger and uses more and more population. But the key about the colony limit is you're adding population. Colony limit number 4 added 7 pops. That's a lot. That is a lot. And we still have some arcane tablet research remain. Oh, we did have another one. Radius cap increase. Is going to use 20 and 10. So we are going to eventually have to get some additional. There's a 15. We only have 13 right now. Combat gear, that's something we can get. So combat gear, something we can get immediately, or we can get glass production and start preparing. Sand, okay, sand digging, that's a good one to have, as we haven't gotten into that right now. And make glass, which I'm sure is what we're going to need for terraforming 2, as it's on that path. The combat gear is not something I even need right now, so I think maybe the glass production is the next thing we want to get unlocked, and we can't quite afford that combat gear. But man, oh man, are we getting close. Terraforming 2 requires 10 additional. That's going to get us the volatile. Alright folks, that is going to do it for the second episode of our mini-series here. I do foresee, based on how far we made it in this episode, that we can probably finish up Tier 2 within the subsequent third episode, and that will open the pathway to Tier 3. There is a Tier 4. I do not foresee us getting that far with this mini-series, and we'll see what the reception is from these first couple of episodes to see whether I go beyond just finishing Tier 2 and getting into Tier 3, or, you know, if we want to take it all the way through the 4 tiers that are available for now. But at the very least, we'll get that one more episode and finish up Tier 2. But you've got to let me know in the comments below how much more of this game you would like to see. You could tell me that simply by liking or commenting on the video. Also subscribe for more. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.